Hi everyone. I wanted to do this little video to go along with a blog I wrote back in November on inner healing ministries, trauma counseling, and dissociation, and kind of expand on an example I used in that blog to show why, has been the case when I've talked to so many different counselors and inner healing, deliverance ministries, where they have this handful of people that are very sincere, but for some reason are not able to resolve like the bulk of people that come for that ministry or that counseling. And the reason is, probably not for all of those in that handful, but a lot of the people in the handful that don't resolve is that they're dealing with dissociation on whatever level. And so, typically with trauma, it does get kind of locked in a pocket until it's processed, and all those emotions, feelings, sights, sounds, everything is kind of contained in that little pocket or bubble. So when the person gets triggered, then bam, in the present, it's like they're reliving the memory again. And this could be from childhood memories, it could be from more recent memories in adulthood, they could be repressed, but it's affecting their everyday life. And so when they go to these ministries or counseling, EMDR, they're able to go and make that connection to those memories as a whole person. And resolution comes. The Lord brings healing. With dissociation, however, it's a little bit different, and a lot of times people try to work with each part to process a memory, or they try and dig up the memories in the past to bring healing there. But I just wanted to give a practical example to show why that method is either going to be super long, super tedious, super painful, frustrating for both you and the person coming to you, or for those who have been traumatized and deal with dissociation, it's super frustrating to receive ministry or counseling when there's not a good understanding of why those traditional methods won't help too much until integration has occurred. So the dissociation needs to be resolved first, and then those methods are needed and helpful for someone coming out of a traumatic background. So as an example, okay, this is from real life. So a little girl of about 7 comes out of her room in the morning, ready, excited for school. So I'm just going to call her Little Julie. So little Julie comes out of her room, excited, going down the hall, thinking about going to school. Internally, beside her, is a little girl of about 3 who's terrified, named Rosie, clutching a little bear. Also internally on the other side is Rochelle, who knows the rules that have to be followed in terms of what her dad expects. And if those rules aren't followed, then things can be worse. So she's kind of a rule enforcer. So the little girl, little Julie, goes to the bathroom, and while in there, there's another little girl, seemingly up in the ceiling, called Sally, who looks down and kind of feels sorry for little Julie and the others because their mommy and daddy don't love them, but Sally in the ceiling is very glad that her mom and dad do love her, okay? So little Julie gets off the toilet, hears her dad call for her, and instead of responding, like Rochelle would prefer, she gets in the shower. So as soon as she does, then soon behind comes her father. And that causes little Julie, instead of being forward in the body, she goes back, and Rochelle now takes the brunt of the father's fury, gets choked. Little Rosie has disappeared as soon as there was fear because she can't handle that. And once Rochelle takes the choking, then the dad turns her around to sodomize her. Well, Rochelle doesn't take the sodomizing, so she disappears. And instead, Raggedy Andy comes out because he's a rag doll, can be torn apart and put back together again, and it's okay, so he can take the physical pain. So Raggedy Andy takes the sodomy. At this point, little Julie's brother comes into the bathroom, hearing her cries, and the dad gets out of the shower, does something to her brother. He ends up crying, which ends up bringing the mom into the bathroom. In the meantime, internally, Raggedy Andy disappears. Dead girl is left on the floor of the shower with all the physical pain, but thankfully she's dead, so she doesn't feel it. And also, little Slut is there because she kind of deserved it. Okay, she can take the blame of that. And then when the mom tells little Julie to get out of the shower, and is angry at her, then all of a sudden, dead girl and Slut disappear, and bad girl comes to the forefront because she just is bad. So she doesn't know why, but things just happen, and it's probably her fault. So she gets out. Mom tells her to get dressed, and she does. Eventually, bad girl gets to go back, and little Julie comes out to eat breakfast, doesn't really know what had happened, and gets to go to school for the day. Okay, so that ends up being, there's little Julie, who ends up growing up into Christian presenter, who comes for counseling. Okay, she's very oblivious to the abuses. Rosie, who takes a lot of the fear and tries to bring self-comfort. Rochelle, who tries to follow the rules, you know, to make it a little bit better, not quite so bad when the abuse is happening. Sally, who gets to believe that her mom and dad love her because there's got to be hope somewhere in the system, you know. Then there's Raggedy Andy, who takes the sodomy, the pain of that. Dead girl, who takes the bulk of physical pain and kind of numbs it out. The slut, who just thinks she's dirty, disgusting, and deserves it anyway. And then the bad girl, who takes the blame and is able to interact with the mom or the dad in terms of, okay, I'm sorry, not really knowing what she did, and kind of can go do daily tasks, okay? So one event, one traumatic moment, 8 different parts of this person that need resolution for this one memory. So this person grows up, most of the parts get tucked down deep inside, while the Christian presenter, little Julie grown up, knows something's wrong because all of this rumbles whenever there's triggers. All these different parts rumble. And so she goes for counseling, okay? So very sincere, loves the Lord, wants help. And so normal ministry happens. She might have some awareness that there was sexual abuse in her past. So, and she might even have some awareness, depending on how much time's gone by, whatever amnesic walls have come down. Maybe she has some awareness of that event, but she feels nothing. It's head knowledge, because all the bodily feelings, the emotions, the fear, the anger, everything's tucked down deep in those 7 other parts of her. So she gets a little help, maybe a little foundation in the Lord, but none of these are helped. Okay? So that's why instead of separate, and I know there are other ministries that will try and call all the parts forward, maybe, maybe you'll get a few more, but maybe not. Some will try and, if they get to know a part or two, then they can go back to that memory and find healing. But that's talking 8 different times that you've got to go to that memory with 8 different parts, 8 different points of view to try and get healing. Okay? And find the memory and find the parts, all of the parts that are involved with that memory. Okay, that's very tedious. And that's kind of traditional methodology even with DID, is you got to map the system, you got to know each part, you got to teach each part that they're in the present now, you got to teach them about Jesus, instead of going, no, this is one person with tons of internal conflict, because none of these parts want to be each other. No one wants to be the girl that's traumatized. Everyone wants to believe that they're okay and safe, but most of the parts have no clue of that, because their job has been to contain the physical pain. And if it happens again, boom, I'm out as dead girl to take the physical pain again. Or boom, I'm out as bad girl. I guess I've done something wrong again. Having no clue and no ability to grow up, process, have the knowledge of God that the Christian presenter got to grow up and process, because Christian presenter, little Julie grown up, had no knowledge of the trauma for a long, long time. So the way to resolve is you have to get all these parts to say yes, even though they feel like completely different people, that they're all, by faith, making a choice. Okay, we're one person, and we're going to trust the Lord on this and let Him start doing the integration. Because the thing is, you don't have to go searching for the memories. You don't have to teach each part about Jesus, because if the person is saved in their spirit, there's one spirit, one with Jesus Christ. And so that person is saved as a whole. It's just some parts are locked in time, so they haven't gotten to share that information yet, okay? But as integration starts to happen, then not only does the part or parts who don't know about the trauma, they start to get to know about it, but also their knowledge of God, the comfort and His peace, get to be shared the other way as well. So memories automatically get shared. Knowledge of the Lord automatically gets shared. You don't have to go hunting for them. What you do have to do is resolve the conflict, the inner hatred. Who do you most not want to be? Well, I don't want to be this raging, angry person. Or I don't want to be the girl who was there at the beginning. She just needs to stay dead. There's so much, not me, that can't be me. I can't handle it, which was true as a little girl or a little boy, a little girl and a little boy who's chronically traumatized between the ages of conception and 6 or 7 years old. Every trauma is completely overwhelming. There's no answer. It's confusing. And so the only way to survive is to start becoming the answers. Well, maybe I'm bad. Maybe I'm a slut. Well, maybe my mom and dad do love me. Maybe if I just follow the rules better. Well, maybe I am just a bad girl. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a rag doll that can be torn apart and put back together again. Okay? The person becomes all the answers to something that was completely unanswerable. And at a certain point, the Lord will bring them to a place of going, oh, okay, I was a person, one, that God breathed into being at the start, and He is calling me to go, okay, I can be raging, angry Christian presenter all at the same time, instead of just Christian presenter until it's too much, then bam, super angry, out of control, and then bam, back to Christian presenter again. No, I can be super angry Christian presenter. And also, hopefully, super angry Christian presenter little girl who was there at the beginning. And come so that super angry Christian presenter can come back home to the little girl who was there at the beginning. The core of who the person is. That everybody split out from, they can all come back home The Lord does that process, brings it together, all memories get shared. So by the time the conflict is resolved, the person knows their history. The person knows God at a heart level. You don't have to teach that. You don't have to go searching for it. So then once that has happened, then those traditional methods are super helpful, can work, because the Lord needs to be known by the person in all of those traumatic places that haven't been resolved yet, just through the integration process. So I hope that helps, makes some sense. Might take a couple of listenings to understand. But I'm going to keep trying to post more information that hopefully will be helpful to those ministering to people and aren't understanding why the methods aren't working so well. Yeah, I'll try and give some questions to ask and other information, just like I have in other places on our website. So if you haven't gone to our website, it's Teach Them to Observe. It's ttto.org. And we have lots of information posted there. We're adding more all the time, trying to give links to other people that have posted some really great information to help those who are helping others, as well as help those who are trying to figure out what is going on with them and why they can't seem to find help. So thanks.